Hey everyone, number 65 on my list of 100 greatest songs of all time is Folsom Prison Blues by Johnny Cash. Um, Johnny Cash wrote the song for his debut album 1955, it came out. But what's interesting about the song is that he heavily, and I mean heavily, borrowed the song. So much so that he had to pay off the initial writer of the song. I think it was $75,000. So the song is it's based on the idea at the time, I suppose, of prison songs. There was prison songs and then there was railroad songs, and Johnny Cash melded the two together to create a bit of both. And he wrote it after seeing a film called Inside the Walls of Folsom Prison. So that's pretty cool. Something I found out today when he was stationed in West Germany, United States Air Force Base in West Germany. And it's a completely different song over the course of from when he wrote it to when it became a huge hit after it came out on the live album, Live at Folsom Prison. And I would much prefer the live performance they do in those concerts. There's one at live at San Quentin. I have it on vinyl, and it's a great performance. And the prisoners are all getting into it and all that, which is really like. There's a great picture of him just like, giving the finger to the camera in the prison, and just like it's effortlessly easier said than easy for me to say there. But there's something very kind of rebellious about the idea of like going to the prison at the time, and it was shown in the Walk the Line film, where Joaquin Phoenix plays Johnny Cash as the kind of a real vital part of the Johnny Cash lore of him playing to the prisoners, and I suppose his kinship, or at least how he felt it was his kinship with the prisoners. And the song that he based it on, I had it up here a minute ago, and now it's probably going to be very hard for me to find it. I should say, sorry, that when he released it in 1968 at Folsom Prison album, the song made number one on the country music chart. It got into 32 in the same year on the Billboard Top 100, and also won a Grammy for Best Country Vocal Performance that year. I think it was the 11th Grammy Awards. So he took the melody for the song and many of the lyrics from Gordon Jenkins' 1953 song called Crescent City Blues. And the Crescent City Blues is much slower, kind of 16 bar bluesy kind of idea. And he kind of made the lyrics a little bit darker. It is the kind of idea of that song being let me click into what it says about Crescent City Blues. I know this is kind of a shambles as usual, but like, what more could you possibly expect from me at this stage? But where is it gone? Oh my God. But yeah, there it is there, sorry. So he did have to pay off that $75,000 to why is it Gordon Jenkins? That's the name of the guy. So Crescent City Blues, it says here, the difference between the two. So obviously this is more of I like that. What I love about this Folsom Prison Blues is the chugging along of it, the idea of the railroad and the train. You can imagine a steam train on the tracks going along to the rhythms of this song. But he changed stuff like in the original version by the original version, the lyrics are, I hear the train a coming, it's rolling around the bend, which is copied. They both begin with that. But then Jenkins' song goes, and I ain't been kissed, Lord, since I don't know when. But Cash is a little bit darker. I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when, obviously being in prison. And then Jenkins says, I'm stuck in Crescent City, just watching life mosey by, where Cash has his protagonist sing, I'm stuck in Folsom Prison, time keeps dragging on. So it was 15 years, early 70s, after the song became popular. Cash paid Jenkins settlement around $75,000 for it. If you go and listen to Crescent City Blues, it's good, and you can clearly hear the similarities between them. You won't have to go too far to find them. But I just got to get up the Folsom Prison Blues lyrics, because I do think it's one of the greatest lines in, I don't know what you want to say, country, popular music, country music, whatever. I think Johnny Cash has kind of crossed genres a bit. Well, more than a bit, to be fair. Like his reputation, he got cooler and cooler as his life went on, and his lining up with Rick Rubin and recording those American albums were huge, with like bringing Johnny Cash to the fore and reminding people of just how great he was and of his legacy. And it wasn't just about Ring of Fire and stuff. But I've always been really struck by this track. I like a lot of Johnny Cash's work, but you know, and a lot of the covers that he's done have been amazing, and such amazing choices for him to do. But this has always been the one. But the line in this was just like the coldest line in music history. Is but I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die, which is like such a great lyric. And though it's not it's probably the simplest song, or the less, I kind of know what way would I put it. When it comes to like the chords and the lyrics, it's not hugely ambitious in scope and stuff. But it's probably the simplest song in that regard on the whole 100 list. From what well, there's one coming up as well, but it's not hugely, but it resonates an awful lot. And if you hear him doing it like I said, at the prisons, it's so good. But those, I have a capo on the first fret on this. It says some chords sites say that you should have a capo, others say you don't need a capo. It's very hard to sing like Johnny Cash. He has a very, very low voice. So, but that rhythm I was talking about. It's like the steam engine, and it doesn't change an awful lot from that. Like even when it goes to the solo, it's the same thing. The back track. I hear the train a coming, it's rolling round the bend, but I ain't seen no sunshine since I don't know when. I'm stuck in Folsom prison, and time keeps dragging on. But that train that keeps a rolling way on to San Antonio. That's as low as I can go with that. But it doesn't stray from it. It doesn't have like a big chorus. It does have a very simple single note guitar solo. I don't think it needs much more than it. You know, with the drums playing that. Again, the whole idea of motion in the music, and there's the idea of captivity in prison and the feeling of freedom on the kind of railway line, and you know, the kind of was and maybe there still is a romanticism with train travel, and at that time, like, you know, jumping on we see it in films an awful lot, you know, jumping into these empty carriages and being taken to a completely different place, and this kind of movement, and you dreaming about getting out of this prison. And the last verse, well, if you freed me from this prison, if that railroad train was mine, I bet I'd move it on a little further down the line, far from Folsom prison, that's where I want to stay, and I'd let that lonesome whistle blow my blues away. So, I mean, it's pretty good. So yeah, Folsom Prison Blues by Johnny Cash. Cheers.